for staying with us here on Newsdesk. And in your shots there was Fred, who has recovered from COVID-19. And another Fred is joining me in the studio. He has not tested positive. He's the head of our health desk, and he will be bringing us some analysis on this. Fred, the issue about, the question actually about capacity as it stands now for testing has not been answered. It was not answered. Joseph Akable put that question. But you were at Noguchi a few days ago where they took delivery of some testing kits. Hopefully that will be a game changer, we're told. But the announcement that we have some 80 in terms of the recoveries, 83 recoveries, that is good news.
Yeah, that's good news. And you know, our officials, they make an extra effort to be sure that whatever they are saying about the recoveries is 100% foolproof. And so if you realize people are not recovering too quickly in Ghana, and it was becoming a concern.
Absolutely.
So what happens is that when you test positive, you'll be put on medication, and whilst you're on medication and there are signs that you're feeling okay, you have 14 days to go, and then another test is done. Once that test is done and you test negative, most likely you're okay, but they want to be double sure. So they wait another 14 days, okay, because that's the incubation period for the virus, and then test again. If you test the negative and negative consecutively, then you are cleared.
And that is very important, because for some of the people who went into mandatory quarantine, initially they tested negative, then the second test
they tested positive. Indeed. And so that's why they want to do that, to be sure that, so once you are cleared in Ghana, it means you are really cured, and chances of you relapsing may not be there. In fact, that's another matter under discussion, but at least we are sure that you are free of the virus at the time our health officials declare you coronavirus free.
So we have 50,719 tests conducted so far. We set a target of 10,000 for ourselves. We've done exceedingly well. I think we're second to South Africa on the continent, but we could do more, Fred.
Yes, we can do more. And the issue about testing capacity, that's what will draw our attention to what we're doing, whether we have the capacity to do more tests or not. If you realize, we've increased our testing centers to 6. Okay, we used to have Noguchi and KCCR, but it's gone up to 6 now. And that will mean that we have the resources to operate all of these test facilities. The reference labs are in operation, and some more are in. And Noguchi itself has taken delivery of some more equipment, which they are using in molecular testing. Okay, so that's what Noguchi is using for molecular testing, and this new machine can actually go on the field and test people right there. So you get instant results. It's never happened since we started COVID testing, and the one Noguchi has been using for this period is a very complex one. It's not just for COVID, it's for other things, and moving it is so expensive. You know, it's very expensive to use. Yeah, so with some new centers, we'll be testing for more. But that brings us to the position as to whether the lockdown will be lifted or not.
Yes, and I was just going to ask you about that. What are you learning, Fred? Will this lockdown be lifted? Remember that yesterday we heard from the Deputy Minister Designate, Dr. Kufuor, talking about how he actually justified the action government has taken, because the GMA, for instance, was calling for a nationwide lockdown. He thinks that the move is just appropriate because our situation is not so bad. In fact, he's predicted that by May, if we're going the way we're going, we should have life return to normal. What are you learning?
All right, so no one is actually making a point about what the briefing the president has been given. But if you look at what's happening generally, you can draw some conclusion to this. Now, Kufuor seems to have a certain roadmap in front of him. He would have had a lot of information to be able to do that. So, yes, we are seeing some sign. You're seeing that our target was 10,000. Is the reason why we locked down.
Absolutely.
We wanted to test 10,000 samples. We have tested 50,000 and more. In fact, more samples are still being tested.
Yeah.
Okay, it gives us, you know, the idea that we're doing well. We're getting, even though cases have gone up, we seem to be making progress. The TUC, they cancelled May Day. Okay, May Day is roughly 2 weeks away. Okay, they cancelled it. So you'd say that the information they had for which they've taken this decision would be around that. But I'm thinking that no government is ever comfortable seeing the economy stagnate or remain the way it is. People are not going to work, everybody's at home. So I'm expecting that Accra, Kumasi areas where the lockdown is may be relaxed. Okay, not completely lifted, but maybe relaxed, so that the ban on the public gatherings will remain in force, and then it's relaxed. But
wouldn't that be dangerous, Fred? Considering that, for instance, in Accra, we have the most cases. And mind you wanted to do this in 2 weeks. The president has had cause to extend it by a week. And we may go for another week.
Well, so I'm just reading what I'm seeing because of the information that we have, that there's a possible. In fact, you also notice that a lot of people are very uncomfortable with this situation.
Very much so.
Even haircuts, people can't get to go to their barbers.
That's
you
true.
realize the economy is really struggling because of this. Okay, the economy has been hit, and so there's a fine line the president will have to draw between lifting the lockdown and allowing it to continue for extra weeks. But I am seeing the president relaxing in Accra and Kumasi, and then in certain areas of the country, especially in border communities, I expect curfews in those places, because the people living there seem to be aiding foreign nationals coming in, crossing through the illegal means into Ghana. And so you need to impose some measures to address that as well. So I'm expecting the president to take a certain decision on these lines. But anything else, I would say that we've done very well so far, and it looks good.
Back to the recoveries, how important is the story of the recoveries to this fight? For the first time, we had a survivor, so to speak to us on national television, tell the story. What is the impact of highlighting this to the fight?
Well, it only tells you, Fredra made the point about how difficult it is for anybody to suffer coronavirus. And so if you've been told to stay at home and you think that it's some kind of punishment, it's actually help to you yourself to stay away from contracting it. You heard him talk about how his entire family was devastated to know that this is what was happening to him. The wife was supporting, but still a very difficult time. He had to be separated from his family for the period that he was on. It's almost in 2 days, it will be like a month since he had it, and he's now been able to go home. That's not easy for anyone. Nobody wants to be in that situation. And so, yeah, it is very important to the fight and the information people have been given, that stay at home, stay away from it. At some point, we'll be able to clear this completely from our country, and then everybody can go out.
The flip side to this, Fred, is that you want to be careful not to affect the fight adversely. Some have said that we should actually put fear in people. We should tell harrowing stories so that people know that this is real, because there are a lot of people who are flouting the rules. Actually, people are in disbelief that this thing is real. We saw what happened at Jamestown, over the weekend. So how do you balance this and manage it to get the results that you so desire?
And that's where I got confused. Because when we started, in fact, we were not even causing any fear. The campaign was that, don't cause. In fact, there's a popular slogan, spread calm, not fear.
Yeah.
Which is ongoing.
A hashtag.
Okay, yeah. So we've preached that same way, only calm. Even if it's a very deadly situation, you say, oh, relax, it's fine. Then we've got to a stage where the people are not respecting this calm, and so you want to do fear. At the time you were against telling the truth as it was, what was the risk? And now what is the risk of telling them the way it is so that people will be afraid and stay at home? So I'm sure they will need to speak to psychologists to tell us what the impact will be if we go that way to now spread fear. How is it going to affect the society in the long run? So that at least we will all come to some conclusion on how we proceed on this, because now 2 messages being preached to us.
Yeah.
If you do this, then you are accused of spreading fear, and now you are urging me to spread the fear.
This is, let's see how it goes, Fred. But thank you very much for bringing us analysis on this. You had Fred Smith, his head of health desk, and still to come here on News Desk with me. 83 COVID patients recovered, 17 more waiting to be declared treated. We'll bring you details. Also, new increases in LPG product withdrawn. We'll bring you some reaction from the LPG Marketers Association as well as COPEC. Now, later on the bulletin, 40 die in cerebrospinal meningitis in the Upper West region. We'll hear from our correspondent Rafiq Salam. And displaced quarters of Old Fadama sleep in the open. We'll tell you how the story of children and nursing mothers were forced to spend the night in the open after city authorities demolished their homes.